Welcome back to the Jono Explains Things stream. Today we have a guest with us, so I'm going to switch the screens over right away. You may see from the title, the guest is Andrew Mrpositive. So today, I see we have the Excel sheet on. I had him on because we wanted to just hang out and talk a little bit more about art in general, but also this is somewhat of a oh, it looks like we lost the call there. Hopefully we'll be getting that back on, but I'll keep explaining what's going on. Can you hear me, Andrew?
Yeah, I can hear you. Did you get the video set up again, or did I just regular call you?
I think there's a button to hit to get the video back. There's a little camera.
I can see you. Okay. Oh yeah, here we go.
There you go.
Here I am.
All right, now you're back. So I was just saying that we had you on to talk a little bit about art, and also we specifically wanted to get back together because we recently finished the add-on drawing. So we wanted to kind of put a cap to that. I could actually pull it up just so we can admire it on the stream, but uh, it was I'd say it was a pretty good picture. It kind of went
Oh,
in some interesting
it's
directions.
good. It's really good. Yeah,
Yeah,
let's get a look at it.
yeah. You'll be able to see it in a couple seconds here, but yeah. So
Okay.
there's a lot to look at, but I think it's very pleasing to the eye. There's no real bright colors. It's kind of just a natural look. So I was pretty happy with how it turned out. Um,
Yeah. No, you. I think you. I kind of started it off, so I think you kind of followed on my stylistic, or my style, I should say. Yeah.
yeah,
With all the kind of organic shapes or whatever. Lots of small shapes like in the river and everything. So yeah, it turned out pretty good. It's a pretty fun little exercise to do just to see where somebody else takes the drawing. I
yeah.
took it in kind of a weird direction at the end, but that's what I thought it needed. Like
No, I definitely think it added something to the picture. It almost looks more like a collage now because
yeah, I
there's
know.
different
Yeah, like
styles
somebody
within it.
photoshopped our picture or something and put that West Coast in there. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
I was joking on my stream that that your Force Ghost kind of looks like Daniel Tosh, uh,
Yeah, that's a little bit. Yeah.
but
You pointed out Force Ghosts. The Force Ghosts are blue. I totally made it green. I was thinking. I think I mixed up. Like in my head, I was picturing Yoda as a Force Ghost,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, he's green. So,
It's kind of hard to
but
see Yoda as
when I
blue,
actually
but
look
yeah,
at a clip from it, and yeah, like they definitely are more blue.
yeah.
But I think you get the idea.
No, no, I get it. Yeah, maybe it's just kind of like you're being in touch with nature, and so it's showing.
Oh
It's like.
yeah, it's like a nature force. It's yeah, it's more. It's like the green Force Ghost. Yeah,
All right.
yeah,
Well, so we wanted to just put a cap on this, kind of get some last comments in here, but I think it was a good journey altogether. I'm sure we'll be doing some projects in the future, but as for right now, this picture is complete. So we're going to be moving on. Oh, and
yeah. People can probably. I mean, people are probably gonna want to buy it. So like we'll just accept best offers at first. I don't really want to put a price tag
I
on it,
mean, could you
but
imagine getting this whole thing like wrapped into the shape of a T-shirt? Like not just the picture
oh
on it, but like the entire T-shirt is just the
oh that would
picture.
actually be pretty neat.
Yeah,
I've never tried to make a shirt out of a piece of artwork before, but
yeah,
if I were to do it, this one might be a pretty good one. Those yo okay, I can finally see the picture
yeah,
now.
yeah. I
Those
realized
those
that
are pretty sweet.
I didn't have it up on the stream the whole time, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, that would be a pretty cool shirt. Yeah, that would be pretty neat. I don't know.
yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna switch over to a blank paint screen here, and we can get right into the discussion. I know we were kind of just leaving it open with the general topic of what we were talking about today, but um, I was kind of hoping that we would get some insight into like the first few lessons that you would get in an art class, and kind of just like the basics
Yeah. Okay.
of style and technique. So, have at it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think it's important to like learn terms that you would use when you're learning art. So um, I guess the first thing that I remember learning about design, I guess would be using your space. So something that like if you do a lot of doodling or if you're kind of interested in doing art, um, one of the first lessons I remember having is about how to position your drawing or painting or whatever correctly on your whatever you're doing it on. So if you have this little square that you're looking at here, you don't want to obviously you want it to be able to fit in within everything, but you want to use all the space that's in there, or maybe not all of it, but you want to yeah, you want to space things out to the point where it's kind of pleasing to the eye. Something that you'll hear people talk about a lot is negative space and positive space. So if if you have that square that you're drawing there, the positive space is the inside of the square, and the negative space is all the space that you haven't used yet. And you want to create some interesting shapes with the negative space too. That's something that you don't notice right away when you look at a painting. You usually look at the subject matter, whatever the painting or drawing is about. But something that will make it easily more pleasing to the eye is using your space correctly.
Uh,
That's like the first thing that I remember really learning that made a lot of my paintings go from okay to easily make like with an easy being conscious about that easily made them quite a bit better.
Yeah, and I think that's actually
Starting
something
from
that
space.
that extends into a lot of different situations. Like when I'm like setting up my setup for YouTube, I always try and make sure I'm taking up a good portion of the webcam, but not all of it. And they,
Right. You don't want it. You don't want. Yeah, it's like it's something that you don't necessarily have to like have a formal training in art to understand that pictures or whatever you're framing looks better if things are kind of balanced.
yeah,
So
I
yeah, you don't want to be zoomed all the way in or zoomed too far out. Yeah.
I think a lot of people say some people say the 2/3 rule, but I think it's actually the golden ratio is where you're supposed to be, like how much space you're filling up. It's like that's just tends to be pleasing to the eye. The golden ratio is like
I don't know what the gold ratio is. No.
the well, okay, so the golden ratio is actually let me clean this out. If you have like uh, a square and then you make um, another square like that, and then you make another square like that, and then like that, and then it's basically what it is it's this curve that ends up showing up a lot in nature, and it is really linked to the number 1.618 dot 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 dot, and so then it's actually like the spiral of seashells of like
Oh. Okay.
like all spirals that you see in nature are usually the golden ratio, because
Oh,
they
interesting.
get a certain proportion bigger in a unit amount of length, and that proportion is always 1.618 times whatever it was before. Um, but yeah, so people tend to really like that. Actually, iPhone screens are like the longer side is like 1.62 times the shorter side. Um,
Oh,
yeah,
interesting. Now that I see what you've drawn there, I've seen people kind of make jokes out of this where they'll put that little curve on other pictures
yeah,
to like say that it's yeah like a perfect ratio or whatever. But yeah, I haven't heard it or I don't know the number or anything, but I've seen that little graph before. Now that you put it up there,
yeah.
that's interesting.
But
Yeah, I wonder is that like something to do with evolution? Like, do we think that looks good because there's uh, examples in nature that do
yeah,
that?
I'm not really sure. I think it's just kind of
Yeah.
a really nice number for a lot of reasons because I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but it's if you take the number and you if you take the number and you go one over it, so one over this golden ratio g, it's actually this this number minus one. So I think it's something to do with the fact that like its inverse is just it's like the fraction version of the original number. It's weird, but basically it works out to be a really nice number, and it's also something. It's linked to like exponential growth, which is seen a lot in nature. But uh,
Oh,
I
okay.
feel like I'm getting too mathy for the art talk. So
Yeah, no, most of that stuff went over my head,
yeah,
but I think I'm following the basic premise. Like, I know that certain fractions are easier to like deal with than others. Obviously, certain
yeah.
numbers are, so that's kind of that makes sense. I mean, a lot of stuff can be explained in math terms. I'm learning. I should have paid better attention in math, I guess.
All right. Well, we talked about space. So you want to talk about like shading or just kind of other
Yeah.
things?
Oh, yeah. This is a big one. Yeah, this is all generally speaking. So there's art that kind of doesn't follow these rules, but generally to make like just broad for broad appeal. Um, let's see, colors are a big thing. I know colors can be just like it's easy to take a group of colors and just use like a set group of colors. I always get it mixed up, but I think the term is analogous. Is that right?
Analogous?
Yeah, analogous colors. Is that the colors that are next to each other on the color wheel? There's
Um, Possibly. I don't
next
know.
to
I
each other on the color wheel, and then there's the colors that are across from each other on the color wheel that are kind of opposite.
Yeah, yeah.
Correct?
I can look it
Yeah,
up
I'm
real
pretty
quick
sure
if you
they're
want.
opposites. Analogous colors would be like yeah, like blue and orange
Yeah, so
and
their
turquoise.
analogous colors are groups of three colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. So you're right.
Yeah, so that's an easy like design tip if you're looking for if you're having trouble like a lot. I think initially a lot of the problems I had is I would use all the colors that I could, and I'd try to just incorporate as many colors as I could, but a lot of really uh, interesting art is kind of limited on its colors. I think you can almost do a lot more by limiting your colors and by going all out and just using as many as you can. So yeah, easy design tip is just use like analogous colors. It's pretty.
Yeah.
It always pretty much looks good. I do that a little bit, I guess, in my stuff. But then I always start adding a bunch of colors, and yeah, that's colors is like it's already like difficult enough to get like all the shapes and everything correct when you're trying to draw something, but then when you try to start deciding on colors, that's a little bit out of my wheelhouse at this point. I need more experience in that to really know how to use colors.
One thing I think that's interesting about color choice in general is it's not just about picking the color that's correct by itself, but you also have to pick something that will look like how you want it to next to other colors. Because it's like that whole thing where you have like the same color gray in a square, and then
Mm-hmm.
but that so then you put like a darker gray around this one, and then I don't know if this is gonna work out on paint, but we'll see. Uh, and then
Yeah, you can make a custom color.
we'll see if this will look good. And it makes the one that's in the darker look so much lighter than the one that's in the white,
Yeah.
usually. But I don't know
Oh,
if it really
yeah.
showed up.
Well, I notice a lot when I'm trying to do like more serious painting on MS Paint, where I'll use the dabber tool or whatever
Yeah.
to grab like an original color from a picture, and I'll grab a color and I'll like when I start
Oh,
using
there we
it,
go.
it doesn't look at all right, but um, yeah, it's just got to be next to other colors to be in sometimes I'll try to get a dark. What I'm thinking is like a dark gray or a black. And it'll end up being like a dark purple or a dark blue or something. But next to all the other colors, it looks right. So it's kind of interesting. Yeah, I see the squares there.
Yeah, it looked so much better when I put the light gray in the back. So
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that makes that look a lot darker. But those are the same grays, right?
yeah, that's just the
Yeah,
base
they just
light
switched.
gray
Yeah,
for from the MS Paint palette. So,
yeah, that's interesting.
but yeah, that's something actually on the drawing that we did, the add-on drawing, when I was doing the chimney, I wanted to have that white kind of grout look, but I actually had to get a reddish white so that
Yeah,
the
yeah.
red would be like subtracted back out when you put it on, and then it looked so much nicer than just having that like bright white
Yeah,
because
it doesn't look right if you do that. I know,
yeah,
yeah.
because like at a distance colors kind of blend anyways, so you kind of have to keep that in mind when you're adding things on.
Exactly.
But
Yeah, you can do that. I mean, you can just like make a grid of two different colors and then zoom out, and all of a sudden it'll just kind of blend into one color. Have you ever seen that before?
yeah,
Where it's
yeah.
just like a
Well, they do that.
like a yellow and red to make orange or
They do
something.
that with the when they make pictures out of people's faces, and then it's like the dominant color is what the whole pixel stands for, even though if you zoom in, it's actually someone's face. Have you seen those?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen where they do that. I can't. There's a name for it, but maybe it's you're talking about pixels. I mean, I know when they take a bunch of small pictures to make a big picture of what the small pictures are,
Mm.
but I've never seen that where it's an actual pixel.
Well,
Is that?
yeah. I mean, it's not like it's just the base unit, so it's not like a pixel wide. It's several pixels wide, but then when you zoom all the way in, you can tell that it's a face.
Oh,
Um, but
okay.
then from like a
I don't think I
distance,
ever.
you can't because it all blends together nicely.
Okay.
Yeah. There's actually there was a guy that I watch on YouTube that he made a Excel spreadsheet that was a picture of his face, and what he did
Okay.
was he had boxes um, that were red, blue, and green. So like every group of three Excel entries was either red, blue, or green, and it was some intensity of those three colors.
Mhm.
And when you zoomed all the way out, it was his face.
Did he like do that manually, or did he have
I
like
think
a program or
he
something?
wrote something to take the actual like pixel information and then plug all the data in for him.
That's an insane amount of Excel work.
Yeah, yeah,
I wonder how many rows he went down.
yeah. I think
Yeah.
Excel has like the baseline Excel only has like actually they might have upgraded it recently, but it for a while it only had like a million and some odd rows that you could work with.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but um, no, it's cool to see how things can like change based off of how far you are away.
Yeah.
I always liked that there's some pictures like even the really famous ones where you'll be all the way across the room and you're like, "Oh man, that looks really cool." And you go walk up and look at it and it's like, "Oh, this looks really bad up close." Because it's
Yeah.
meant to be seen from a distance. So.
Yeah. Okay. Huh. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Some of those. I mean, yeah, a lot of paintings are like that too, where it looks completely different once you get up close. But that's where I think at least in painting, where you can really appreciate what the painter was doing. Because far away, it'll just look kind of normal. But then you get up close and you can actually see brush strokes and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's a little bit different. You can appreciate it a lot more when you get up close on paintings. I noticed that about definitely Van Gogh. When I redid one of his paintings for one of my
Oh
videos,
yeah, yeah.
when I was looking up close on that painting, I was like really, really impressed because there was just thousands of brush strokes, just so um, yeah, all perfectly in the same like symmetrical. No, not. I mean, it was a face, so it wasn't symmetrical, but all of them go in the same direction, so it has that kind of
Tangent.
yeah, yeah, definitely, yeah, tangent, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like that's where I think painters really find their style is in those little details.
Yeah, yeah.
You gotta kind of see it in real life too.
Yeah. And I think it's crazy how much the micro scale of a picture can affect the macro. Because like I've been doing work with some comics that I've been making in Paint,
Mm.
and I I'll go in and I'll like edit the actual pixels just like pixel by pixel at 800%,
Yeah.
when I make a border, because I don't want there to be I don't want there to be spots where there's a bunch of hold on, I'm zooming in on it. Um, you know how when you use the pencil tool, it'll like
Yeah.
do 90-degree turns and whatnot.
Yeah.
I'll go back in and erase all of those little 90-degree turns. But then when you back out, it makes the line so much cleaner.
Mhm.
Even though that takes like 4 hours per frame of the comic, so. But you gotta work for art, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's time consuming. It's really time consuming.
Yeah. But yeah, that, I
But
don't
yeah,
I don't know if you can see that yet, but
no, I can. I think I can see it now. I know what you're talking about.
yeah.
It looks like you built something with Legos almost. Like if you don't fix it,
Yeah.
it really looks like Lego blocks.
I actually thought about trying to write a program to go in and clean up my lines for me, but I don't know if it would clean them up in the way I want them to. So,
Yeah, I know it'd be risky.
yeah.
I mean, does that take up a lot of space on your computer to have like how like each frame has to be quite quite a big file, right? I mean, if you're doing like 800% zoom stuff.
Well, yeah, but I'm not making that big of a picture. That's why I had to zoom in that far.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, okay, I see. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought it was a massive picture that you're just okay.
No, no, because I try to make them small so there's less to clean up.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
gotta make
that
it
makes
just big enough to get like the facial expressions I need, and then.
sense.
But yeah, so is there any like third final topic you want to talk about?
I don't know. Let's see.
We got the positive and negative space. We got color choice. You wanna? I don't know if you wanna talk maybe about like I know there's some people that are big on like color theory of like what colors represent what and when to use them.
Yeah, yeah. I think yeah. I've heard about studies like that where certain colors is like people respond differently for yeah they well I can't remember the word I'm looking for but yeah they like do certain emotions certain
Hmm.
colors will so for instance like that's why a lot of sports teams apparently choose red for their colors because red makes you I don't know like good at sport I mean like not sports but but
Well,
like it makes you like I don't know like pumped up like
one good example I've always seen is the McDonald's effect of red and yellow. I don't
okay
know that it originally had that effect, but because McDonald's got so popular, people associated red and yellow with fast food, and then every single
oh
fast food company shifted towards having red and yellow in their logo, because
interesting
because then you would just see red and yellow and start salivating like Pavlov's dogs.
That's interesting. Yeah, I mean um that wouldn't surprise me if that's yeah. So if that changed or so I yeah I don't know if these are natural in people or not is or is it somewhat programmed into us
Yeah, because
after
I
certain
think
stuff.
I think that there are psychologists that will argue one way or the other whether or not they're like naturally archetypal or whether they become archetypes just from
Yeah.
the environment around us. But no, I'm under the impression that uh, you can't really wire that into someone's um, behavior, but they immediately learn just from growing up in that culture. Like,
Yeah.
I think if you went to like random tribes in the middle of the Philippines and asked people about colors, they probably would have completely different perspectives on it. But
Yeah. 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 We're pretty conditioned and yeah. So
I guess
I don't
that
know.
kind of
I think
that kind of
first. Sorry. What?
I was saying that that kind of depends on what audience you think your art's gonna go out to.
And yeah, Like not a lot of people are, but I don't know if they're yeah. I don't. For me, it's just there's certain colors that I like, and I don't know why I like them, but I've over the years accumulated like 90% blue clothing. I just I like blue, so a lot of my paintings I use blue in, and that's I don't know why that is, but
Yeah.
color choices. A lot of times it kind of is up to what I'm painting. That's something that I definitely know I could get better at and be more conscious of using colors and for specific reasons. But yeah, for me it's just personal preference, I guess.
All right. Well, I guess we can start switching over to the stock market if you don't mind. So I'm gonna
Yeah, let's do it.
switch the screens over. Oh,